Looks like episode 4 is live, Kevin.
Okay, excellent. Let's get started.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Hello, everybody. I'm Baldwin Berges from Brussels. Hello there. I'm with Kevin. Virgil, he's in North Carolina in the USA. We're going to talk about, well, first of all, hi, Kevin. How are you?
Hey, very well, Baldwin. How's everything over there?
Everything's great. Everything's great. Got a juicy topic today. Today, we're going to speak about the impact, the social impact investing is at the new venture capital. That's a big theme. I don't know exactly where to start with this, Kevin, but I think first of all, I think the impact investing term is still not a commonplace term. I mean, I think a lot more people know it than they did a couple of years ago, but still, it's often still very misunderstood, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's one of those emerging phrases where people are still trying to figure out what exactly it means, and we've put a lot of thought into this, and I think we all understand it's investing with the idea of creating a social good, and I think the best interpretation I've seen is that it's the difference between what's called socially responsible investing and impact investing is that usually SRI involves avoiding things, right? Coming up with reasons not to invest in something. Maybe it's not healthy for the environment. Maybe it's involving alcohol or tobacco or other things that are less desirable. I think impact investing is more in trying to proactively find positive impacts that a particular opportunity can have, both tangible and intangible, right? Not just for the bottom line or for the IRR of a project, but how it could improve the overall quality of life for those who are involved. I
Yeah,
keep thinking. Sorry, I was just about to say. I keep thinking about. I mean, agriculture is near and dear to my heart, and I often think about how an agricultural project can be such an amazing impact opportunity because it could create so many jobs in countries in sub-Saharan Africa, for example.
Another interesting thing about impact investing or how it's evolved over the last few years is what I think is sort of like it's sort of clinged on to frontier markets and developing markets. That's sort of what they held on to develop as impact investing. Even though, for
Right.
example, you're in the U.S., I'm in Europe, there's a lot of impact work that we can do here, but somehow it's become somewhat synonymous with growth markets, right? And that's what I think is interesting is that it's because of the growth of growth markets and frontier markets that impact investing is getting a bit more attention. What do you think about that?
No, I think it really has. I mean, if you look at the numbers, I believe we're looking at a tenfold increase in the amount of assets being invested into impact funds this decade. I think we're looking at the estimates I've seen. We're looking anywhere from half a trillion up to a trillion in funds being actively involved in so-called impact enterprises by the end of this decade. And that's enormous for a theme that didn't even exist 10 or 15 years ago.
Yeah, so I guess a simplified way of describing impact investing is probably it's not only about the return, it's not only about the money. It's some call it the triple bottom line. Where there's also a social impact. You create employment. You do great things for the destination of the investment or the destination around the business you're investing in or whatever. So I think a lot more people are starting to get their head around it. Another thing is uh, it's also steering increasingly close to the charity crowd, right? I guess when you go to these impact investment meetings, a lot of the people come in with a mindset of philanthropy. That's what, the main reason why they want to go to these events is because they want to do something good. There's also a lot of consultants who want to help people get things done, obviously, but whoever represents capital there is obviously there with something good. And what I find kind of interesting still, Kevin, is that there's still this wall or this gap between charity and impact investing. And I don't know what the difference may be. Maybe it's just the tax treatment or whatever is the difference, but they're awfully close together. I think one of the things that we want to do with Emerging Frontiers is also help those people who give money out to charity that there's a better way. You put it to work in an impactful way. Not only are you parting with your money, but it actually has, well, an impact, right?
Right. Yeah, I think the goals for people who are involved in both charitable giving and impact investing are very similar, but I think the application of in pursuit of the goal is very different, right? Typically charitable giving often involves just blindly writing checks or donating to an enterprise that is that's allegedly helping out a particular cause, right? We all think about the charity drives at our local churches or schools, places of work. You go to the charitable, the fundraisers, the benefits that are helping. Here in America, like there's you're obviously all kinds of charities helping out. Everything from wounded veterans to disabled children to, I mean, any one of a number of things. And it's debatable as to whether or not those charities are efficiently applying that capital that they receive from all of us. And actually, if you really dig down into the numbers, it's pretty shocking how inefficient some of these charities really are, or even if they're actually supporting the causes they claim to support. What we really like about impact investing and why I think it's got such a bright future is that you're moving away from this scattershot approach and just blindly throwing money at a problem, which can also be counterproductive, as your friend Dambisa Moyo always says. And I think you're using, you're very carefully screening projects that can be profitable for the investor and for the project owner, but can also create that tangible positive result that we're all looking for when we're writing checks to charities as well.
Yeah, we definitely got to find a way to build a bridge between the two. You're right. I agree with you. They're fundamentally different, but still so similar. But I guess the impact methodology or the impact in investing instead of giving is definitely more powerful. But that's a topic on its own. But another thing that we should talk about, I think, is so what is the role of private equity, especially venture capital, in a world where social impact investment is increasing? Is social impact investing going to take part of their pie? Are they comparable? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that good impact investment structurally looks a lot like your standard VC investment, right? It's typically long-term and illiquid. You usually try to identify some sort of exit as and when you can, but you're still in fairly early stages, right? This isn't necessarily private equity, where you're looking at large projects with with a guaranteed liquidity event at the end. There's a lot of risk involved, and it's still early days with the companies you're looking at, and the investors still do take a lot of risk. They expect to be compensated for that risk. I think that the problem, maybe it's not a problem with a lot of VC firms, is that they invest in what they know, right? And I'm sure that, I mean, we're seeing more and more impact-focused VCs or VC similar structures coming to light, not least of which is ours at Emerging Frontiers. But I mean, inevitably, 90+% of the VC funds out there these days are all chasing the same the same opportunities, right? Typically in the Silicon Valley tech space.
Yeah, it's true. But another thing, my experience with essentially private equity, it wasn't exactly VC, it was more growth investing. But my experience with private equity investing in Africa specifically was, it's amazing how quickly a private equity team falls into the traditional mindset of essentially being in the business of saying no. Saying no to a lot of entrepreneurs who show up with projects, right? And and I think it's sort of like the format of the industry where there may be something stuck because because in the end, you're a gatekeeper, and to be a gatekeeper is not a very good thing, especially in a world that's trying to reach out to each other in financial terms. So you're a gatekeeper to entrepreneurs, but you're also so since you're worried about your reputation vis-a-vis investors, and since you're also in the business of asking them to give you capital to invest, you sort of want to be very careful to make sure that when you open your mouth, you say something that investors will sort of want to do because everybody else is doing it, right? Because it's fashionable. I think there's traditional venture capital or private equity has a lot of flaws. And why I'm so excited about impact investing or social impact investing is because, and why I'm so excited about the technology that we can put together with impact investing is because now you can actually arouse the interest of individuals and actually let them make their own choices and not have that gatekeeper in the middle who's really making everything more opaque.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, and it's a testament to just how many things are broken in the investment process now, which is a familiar theme on these broadcasts that we've been running on the Emerging Frontiers channel. It's Yeah, I think that people want to mimic the success that they've seen from all of the amazing stories in technology over the last few years, right? Everybody's looking for the next Facebook or Uber, and but the fact remains that there are a lot of entrepreneurs out there doing really amazing things around the world, and because they don't fit into this tightly defined funnel that the vast majority of VCs and private equity firms want to emulate, they're never going to make it past the initial screening process, which just is detrimental to all of us, right? That's why I think all these trends, crowdfunding is fantastic, because you're now giving people out there who fall outside of the conventional wisdom more of a level playing field than they previously had.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think a good definition of an entrepreneur that I heard a few years ago is it's a person that solves a problem with a profit margin, you know. And
Right.
you're right, instead of chasing fads, you really want to find those guys who can actually solve real problems that impact a lot of people. You know, again, the word impact comes up, so it's pretty exciting. Give us an example of what, for example, Emerging Frontiers is looking at right now. You mentioned a company called Indaga recently. Tell us about that. What's going on with that?
Yeah, yeah, this is really interesting. This is a company that we're going to facilitate an investment into as soon as we launch the Emerging Frontiers platform. And this is, in my opinion, this is a classic example of a company that satisfies all the boxes we're talking about here. It's very well run. It's got an excellent investment thesis.
Where's it based, Kevin?
So Indaga it's a telecommunications technology startup based in the Bay Area in California, and the founders are all postdoctoral candidates from UC Berkeley, and they have created what's called a base tower station, effectively a telecom tower, that can be installed anywhere in the world, and it links to the global satellite network. It's powered very little draw. Effectively, what it does, it allows anybody anywhere in the world to create their own wireless network at a very low cost. And I think it's on its own merits. The business is got the potential to be highly profitable and highly scalable. But more importantly, what I like about this company is that the founders they're disciples of this evolving belief in something called development engineering, right? These guys are all PhD engineers, and they want to apply their expertise to help solve problems. In this case, it's how do we take what's effectively a business with exceedingly high barriers to entry, such as telecom, and try to bring it down to the lowest common denominator. So anybody in a rural area of a frontier market can go create their own business by offering people who previously had no reliable mobile coverage the ability to receive it in their own village for, say, $10,000. And that's what we're talking about here. These guys are able to install basically a tower in a box anywhere in the world, as long as they've got connectivity or line of sight to the satellite network, and offer that connectivity to a limited number of people in some of the most rural and inhospitable areas in the world. I mean, the company's already been running a test or a beta test in rural Indonesia for the last 18 months, and they've been doing it quite well. And we're looking at a payback period of less than 1 year for the towers as they were installed, based on the amount of revenue that they could generate from the tower and offering access to their local customers. And it's something that can be repeated again and again by the local entrepreneurs. So it's, in my opinion, like this satisfies all the criteria for that triple bottom line that you were talking about, and we're certainly eager to find more companies like it for Emerging Frontiers.
Yeah, that's the best of all worlds, right? It's a Silicon Valley company solving some real problems with the connectivity and the frontier market. So, all right. So, if you haven't seen the episodes before, if it's the first time you're watching us, just a few words about what we're trying to do here. Well, Emerging Frontiers is a platform that, what we're trying to do is we're trying to breathe some fresh breath into the way finance is done in emerging markets and frontier markets. It's a platform that combines crowdfunding and it has a social aspect. We want to bring the frontier markets in closer to you. That's why we shoot these videos, and that's why we shoot videos that we try to make them as casual and real as possible. So Kevin and I, we have these conversations about what we think are the key issues in frontier markets, but we're definitely taking this out. We're going to be taking this out into the field. We're going to be speaking to more people who are actually in the frontier market. So the website is emergingfrontiers.com. Check that out. Join our list. We share a lot of things like this with you. We do podcasts, do videos, and every now and then we come up with a great investment idea. So definitely join us, I would say.
Yeah, I second that. Now, we're very excited about what we're doing here. We're looking at an imminent launch for the Private Investor Network, the crowdfunding portal. We'll be listing some of these interesting companies that we see. And to those of you watching, if there's anything out there that you think might be of interest to us, we'd love to hear about it. So drop us a line or give us a call.
Absolutely. All right, Kevin, let's wrap this one up. We could have gone on for a long time, I think, but let's do another episode about this in more detail and from another angle, I guess, or basically get into a little bit more detail about this whole story, which is enormous.
Yeah, definitely. Looking forward to next time. Thanks, Baldwin.
All right, take care.